Hey, what's going on, guys? John Lee with Drone Zones USA here. So, I saw this really awesome article. At least I found it interesting, so I thought I would share it with you guys. This is out of the Washington Post. This was like yesterday. It says 2 hours ago, but that was yesterday, as of August 30th, 2022. Iran sends first shipment of drones to Russia for use in Ukraine. Russian cargo planes have quietly picked up the first of scores. Now, who wrote this article? Oh, by Ellen Nakashima, Joby Warwick. Pretty, very interesting, uh, considering all the things going on with drones. So think of all the stuff that you're doing with drones, and that everybody that we know of here locally, civilians that are using drones, and even commercially as drones. Now, take a listen to some real world application on militarized drones. It's just insane. And this is in related to Iran, Ukraine, and Russia, and the United States, and many other people. That's the crazy thing. And the article really spells out, exactly why this is pertinent. So I hope you like it. Russian cargo planes have quietly picked up the first of scores of Iranian-made combat drones for use against Ukraine, U.S. officials said, in a move that underscores deepening ties between Moscow and Tehran, while also highlighting Russia's struggles to supply its overstretched military. Now here you can see Iran sends first shipment of drones to Russia for use in Ukraine. Look at those fucking weaponized drones. Some bad motherfuckers. Transport planes departed Iran on August 19th, having at least two types of unmanned aerial vehicles, both capable of carrying munitions for attacks on radars, artillery, and other military targets, according to intelligence gathered by U.S. and other spy agencies. But while the weapons could provide a significant boost for Russia's war effort against Ukraine, the transfer has been marred by technical problems, security officials from the United States and an allied government said in interviews. This is just crazy because it gets better. There are a few bugs in the system, said an allied security official whose government closely monitored the transfer. The official agreed to discuss sensitive intelligence on the condition that his identity and nationality not be revealed. The Russians are not satisfied, the official said. Russian drones are filled with Western electronics, experts say. The initial delivery on the Mohar 6 or Mojave 6 and Shahid series drones to Moscow is believed to be the first installment of a planned transfer of hundreds of Iranian UAVs of various types. Pardon me. Biden administration officials said, also speaking on the condition of anonymity because of the matter's sensitivity. The Iranian drones could help fill a crucial gap in Russia's military campaign in Ukraine. See, Russia's been bombing the fuck out of Ukraine, and Ukraine's been able to use these drones, as a way to knock their, hold them back, hold the line. The Iranian drones could help fill a crucial gap in Russia's military campaign in Ukraine. Russia, which has 1,500 to 2,000 military surveillance UAVs, has relatively few attack drones of the type that can deliver precision strikes against targets deep inside enemy territory. Ukraine, by contrast, has used Turkish-made combat UAVs to wreak havoc on Russian armor, trucks, and artillery since the early weeks of the conflict. The Biden administration warned in July that Russia was preparing to acquire a large number of Iranian drones to conduct air-to-surface attacks, electronic warfare, and targeting on the battlefield in Ukraine. Washington Post columnist David Ignatius reported last week, sorry if I brutalize anybody's name or the pronunciation of anything in this article. It's not my intention to do harm. Let's see. Reported last week that Iran had begun delivering the drones, but details of the transfer, including the types of UAVs provided and their purportedly lackluster performance so far, have not been previously reported. In interviews, the U.S. and allied security officials and Russian planes flew to an Iranian military facility to pick up the drones over several days in mid-August. The allied security official said the initial shipment included two models of Shahid drones, the Shahid 129 and the Shahid 191, as well as the Mohajer 6. If you know how to pronounce these, please drop it in the comments below. Save all of our souls. All are considered to be among Iran's top-of-the-line military drones designed for attacks as well as surveillance. So, Iran's got some pretty nifty duty, heavy duty militarized drones that could do some serious damage, and they are definitely doing business with Russia. So yeah, the deal was negotiated over several months ago by a team led by Brig General Syed Hajatullah Quraishi, the chief of the supply and logistics division of Iran's defense ministry. The Russia's military attack in Tehran, the security official said. Under the arrangement, Iranian technical expert traveled to Russia to help set up the systems, and Russian military officers underwent training in Iran, the official said. That's crazy. So you guys need to look this stuff up. If you haven't already, well, hey, you're welcome. Don't forget, if you like videos like these, hit that like and subscribe button for me and ring the bell for notifications. It just helps push videos like these out to other viewers like yourself. Iranian officials had responded obliquely to U.S. claims about the pending drone delivery. Foreign Ministry spokesman Nasser Khani last month acknowledged Iranian and Russian technological cooperation, but said Tehran prefers a diplomatic settlement to the Ukraine conflict. Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov asked last month about the reported deal to acquire Iranian UAVs, said the Russian presidency had no comments on this matter. So they know they're doing it, and, frankly, they don't give a damn. While Iran has supplied military drones to armed proxy groups such as Yemen's Houthi rebels, it has rarely, if ever, tested such models against the kinds of sophisticated electronic jamming and anti-aircraft systems used in Ukraine, said Michael Knights, a military and security expert with the Washington Institute for Near East Policy. Iran has demonstrated an ability to launch swarm drone attacks involving multiple suicide drones massed against a single target, and Western governments will be watching closely to see whether Iran's UAV can carry out such operations on an intensely contested battlefield, Knight said. So this shit's getting pretty fucking serious. I mean, this is some pretty intense shit. Like, you thought you were doing some serious shit with some real estate photography or some construction videography or maybe even some mapping or something. But when you got fucking missiles and you can launch swarm attacks, kamikaze attacks with these fuckers, I mean, this shit is fucking insane. But, and that's the scary thing, because China is leading this industry, and China's very communist. So we're not really, this could really go any number of ways. But don't let that fool you. The United States has definitely got a few cards up their sleeve. These Iranian drones have not operated in a sophisticated air defense environment before, Knight said. The closest they've come to that is with Houthi strikes against Saudi Arabia or against U.S. bases in Iraq, and they have generally not done well. So I wouldn't be surprised that in a more intense environment like Ukraine, they would have some problems. Yeah, because America don't play games, bitch. For Russia, the Ukraine conflict has exposed the country's failure to develop a line of combat drones similar to ones used by the United States for 2 decades, experts say. They understand that they needed these drones yesterday in large quantities, said Sam Bendit, a Russian military analyst at the Virginia-based research group CNA. And Russia has really only 2 countries to which it can turn to plug the capability gap in combat drones, China and Iran. But China is deeply enmeshed in the global supply chain and does not want to supply combat UAVs because they would probably invite U.S. sanctions, he said. See, I was wondering where China stands on, being the leaders of the industry and, being communist and doing business deals with other communists and other countries that aren't democracies. And I'm not really sure that we are a democracy or that we should be. But how can we trust China? You keep your friends close and your enemies closer. The United States began in June to supply Ukraine with the High Mobility Artillery Rocket System, commonly known as HIMARS, which can launch multiple rockets with precision at Russian military targets from nearly 50 miles away. The use of HIMARS has enabled Ukraine to destroy Russian ammunition depots and logistic supplies far beyond the front lines. So that's pretty serious shit. Like, they're able to do some serious fucking damage with these drones and totally blow people out of the fucking, and machines and systems out of the fucking water. The Russians have no way to limit the damage HIMARS are inflicting on them now, said Dmitry Alperovich, chairman of Silverado Policy Accelerator, a Washington-based think tank. They hope attack drones can help. So they're hoping, they've been getting stalled out by a lot of this Western technology and more advanced uh, technological warfare in a real world application sense. So it doesn't pay to be, way down the list of the innovation, you know, uh, superpower. Other NATO provided long range artillery such as M777 howitzers capable of launching precision guided rounds also has added to Russia's challenge, said Rob A. Lee, a Russian military expert and senior fellow with the Foreign Policy Research Institute. In militants' hands, Iranian drones emerge as a deadly new wild card. One of Russia's biggest problems right now is its air force can't interdict things between Ukrainian lines, Lee said. They don't have many long-range UAVs that can strike targets behind enemy lines, so they can't prevent Ukraine from reinforcing its positions and restocking supplies. And a lot of their UAVs are getting shot down or lost to electronic warfare. While Russia is apparently seeking to ramp up domestic production of such drones, it is hampered by Western sanctions and export controls, which have staunched the flow of semiconductor chips and essential to producing such weapons, analysts said. They're relying on the black market, but the needs are vast, Alperovich said. You need chips for everything from precision-guided missiles to aircraft to tanks, not to mention non-military items in their own domestic industries. So there's a lot of demand in Russia for chips, and if Russia can procure fully made drones from Iran, it doesn't need to use its precious supply of black market chips to make its own drones. Analysts said so, and that's the crazy thing about China wanting to invade Taiwan, because Taiwan is, the world's leading manufacturer of these chips that they're talking about, and it's just so crazy to me that this could be a very real world war, a technological world war that may have already been started. Analysts said that transfer of drones is unlikely to affect the ongoing nuclear talks between Iran and world powers, which are proceeding on a separate track and aimed at a different objective, eliminating Iran's capacity for quickly making a nuclear bomb. But the further commenting of military ties between Iran and Russia is a worrisome development for the United States and its allies, experts said. The ever closer alliance does give Russia some military procurement depth, which will be welcome in Moscow, said Clifford Kupkin, a chairman of the Eurasian Group. The bigger message, which may be lost on Russian President Vladimir Putin for now, is that one of the world's allegedly leading militaries is having to turn to Iran for help with key technologies, which shows just how drained their inventory is. So that just goes to show you, this shit does matter. And the Air Force, from what I've heard, is way behind on staffing, and they just can't get enough drone pilots. I've heard it's such a demand. I started a drone business, 3 years ago. I'm still struggling to get a contract. I've had better opportunities with education and creating, a Part 107 class, how to start a drone business class, more in the education department than I have as an actual drone pilot out there trying to get work. What I found is that I'm competing against these national companies that are like middlemen companies that are basically trying to pair up the business with the pilot, charge the client a bunch of money, and then offer their drone pilots, a fraction of what the job pays. And, I'm completely on faith right now, and I know that everything will work out because that's life. Life was meant to be beautiful. So just don't think that it's going to be a cakewalk, or it's not going to be, the most hard work you've ever put into anything that you've ever done in your entire life, if you're thinking about starting a drone business. So I'm John Lee. Hit that like and subscribe button for me. I'm on to the next one.